Hi everyone, Jeremy Reynolds here, Jeremy Reynolds Money Coach from the Getting Started in Finance course. I'm glad you could join me today. Today I am going through part 2 of talking about why and how successful mortgage brokers work in teams. So a little bit of a recap please see part 1 of this series either in the news feed on the Getting Started in Finance page or on my YouTube channel. What I'm talking about here is dispelling the myth that the most successful brokers are autonomous, that they work by themselves, that to be a highest earning person you need to do everything yourself. Contrary to that, you actually need to work in a cohesive business unit where there's roles and responsibilities that are based on strengths of the different team members and working together to optimize those strengths, which come through as an outcome for better results for your clients. Now, what does this actually mean? Because when we're talking about creating, being a successful mortgage broker, what is it that defines a successful mortgage broker? Some people would say, well, it purely comes down to how much volume, sales, income you gain. It's a little bit of a narrow focus because I would actually say your role as a mortgage broker is actually to create and maintain a long-standing client base as opposed to short-term gain. It's those that have a long-term view and have their focus based on the client's needs and retaining those clients and helping them with multiple needs over many years that end up being the most successful. But to get to that point, there's a lot of things that need to be done. Like most new brokers, you're focusing on today. You need to focus on today, but you also need to be prepared for tomorrow. So let's talk about from day one, creating or being part of a successful team or business unit. So here's one of those lovely mortgage broker, dogmatic, textbook things that has no grounding that I'm going to dispel right now. Those that say, yeah, team sounds like a good idea. So I know most people are told don't have a team, do it all yourself. But for those that have been somewhat instructed that a team could be a good idea, they often miss a crucial point here. That they're actually told only start working in a team when you get too busy to handle it yourself. Now, we look at things in a black and white fashion with hardly any variables. It somewhat makes sense, but it's not accurate. And I'll backtrack a little bit. If you have this attitude that wait till you're only really busy before you start working in team and start working with other people, you're going to put a very low ceiling on what you can achieve. And I've seen it time and time again for people that are in the majority of brokers that aren't highly successful, that they're always really busy, but they never grow, they never actually exceed where they're at. They get comfortable in that part where they're working at near capacity to where they can without expanding into a team-based model. So let's look at this concept in a little bit more detail of the dynamics of team and when you should be developing a team. So let's use the example of you're completing your studies now, you're completing the Getting Started in Finance course, you're working out your cash flow, your budgets, you're potentially starting to very gently let people know that you're entering the finance industry and what you're doing. And you go, well, I've got to learn all the ropes myself, so there's no point working with other people. I actually say distinctly different from this, and this is where from the perspective of what the Getting Started in Finance course will teach you, from day one, you should be establishing your grounding in a team. In other words, use the strength of the team because you're new. As opposed to, well, I'm going to flounder, I'm going to fall on my face, I'm going to get everything wrong, I'm going to burn lots of bridges, and then finally, when I rise from the ashes and get it all sorted and then figure it out, then when I'm really busy, I'm going to start working with other people. I'm going to explain something there. You've lost a lot of time. Those things are going to happen anyway, but let's minimise them and maximise your ability to help the people that are in front of you by working in a team. So who could be in your team? First of all, the first person that should be in your team